Back in 2018, I was working nights at a packing and distribution warehouse out on Calder Road. It was one of those places that ran two shifts. Morning crew did most of the picking and packing, then night shift handled inventory, restock, and preparing bulk orders for dispatch. I was on for 4 nights a week, mostly solo, except for a forklift guy named Blake, who worked the far end loading pallets for the trucks. The warehouse was huge, old too, corrugated roof, cracked concrete floors, and those yellow lights that hum just enough to get in your head after a while. The break room was tiny and always smelled like instant noodles and damp towels. Not a glamorous job, but it paid well enough, and I didn't mind the quiet. Now the thing about that place was the back section, Bay 9. You had to go through two of the main aisles and around a corner to get to it. That section had been part of the original warehouse when it was first built in the 70s, but apparently there was some kind of structural issue, and it wasn't used for regular storage anymore. They kept the old archive boxes there, payroll records, outdated invoices, expired food stock waiting to be collected for disposal. The place always felt colder than the rest of the warehouse, even in summer. I didn't like going down there because the light above that bay flickered every now and then, and the motion sensor never picked me up properly. I had to wave my hand like an idiot to get it to turn on, and Blake didn't like it either. He used to joke and say, "Bay 9's where you go when you want to disappear off the roster." So anyway, one night we got a delivery way later than usual. A driver dropped off a mislabeled container that wasn't supposed to come until the following week. Manager called me and told me just to shove it somewhere out of the way and process it later. The only space left was in Bay 9. So I dragged the pallet jack over and pulled this heavy-ass container down into Bay 9, parked it in the corner. As I was doing that, I started hearing this rhythmic clicking. Sounded like it was coming from one of the shelving units, like something tapping on metal. I stopped moving, thinking maybe it was a rat or something stuck in the racking, but it kept going. Tap, 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 almost like Morse code. Not fast, just steady. I yelled out to Blake, asked if he was messing with me. Nothing. I walked up to the shelf and flashed my torch behind it. Nothing but old boxes. But the tapping kept going, and I swear it was on the opposite side now. Like something was moving behind the row. I went around the aisle. Again, nothing there. But this time I caught a smell, like burnt rubber and copper, strong. Hit me all at once. My eyes started to sting. That's when my walkie crackled. Just static at first, then it cut in with this weird voice like it was coming through layers of something. I could only make out 2 words, "Stay out." Then it went dead again. I got this tight feeling in my chest and started walking back toward the main section. As soon as I turned the corner to leave Bay 9, all the lights overhead cut out at once. Whole section just went dark. The rest of the warehouse was still lit, but Bay 9 was blacked out completely. I stood there frozen, torch in one hand, trying to listen but heard nothing. But then all of a sudden, like someone exhaling right behind me, I felt warm breath on my neck. Not wind, breath. I turned around with my torch, but there was no one there. I backed out slowly, not taking my eyes off the dark, and as soon as I passed that line into the main aisle, the lights in Bay 9 flickered back on behind me. But they weren't flickering randomly. They were switching on row by row, coming toward me. Like something was walking the aisles. I left the pallet, didn't even care at that point. I ran straight to the break room where Blake was making a coffee. I told him what just happened, and he didn't even blink. Just nodded and said, "That's why I don't go past Bay 8 after 11. He said he'd seen things too, shadows in the corner of his eye, voices that weren't over the radio, stuff moving on their own. He told me he once saw a guy standing in the forklift mirror when no one was behind him. Said the guy had no reflective tape on his vest. No ID. Just stood there staring into the mirror until he blinked. Blake had been there 5 years, and I only made it another 2 months. I didn't quit over that night. I just started noticing other things after that. Tiny things, but they added up. One of the CCTV monitors always glitched around Bay 9, only during my shift. I'd find boxes knocked over in that area that no one admitted touching. One night, a full roll of cling wrap from the packing station ended up down there, fully unraveled, wrapped around a support beam. No one saw how it got there. The last straw for me was when I saw my own name on one of the archive boxes, sitting in the corner of Bay 9. I don't know why it caught my eye, but I walked over and looked at it. handwritten label with black marker that said, Incident 46, Night Shift, C. Jameson, which is my name. I never opened it, just left it there and walked out the building like I was going to take a phone call and never went back. And honestly, I'm glad I made that decision before anything seriously bad happened to me.